The CHL, which is made up of the WHL, OHL, and the QMJHL, is a great group of leagues for players to spend their junior days developing into an NHL prospect. But in the usual drafts that each of these three CHL leagues host, they pick American and Canadian kids that match their geographically controlled regions. But these entry drafts for the CHL only cover a small portion of the CHL player base. In order to bring in most European talent to the CHL Import Draft is held. The CHL Import Draft has been held every year in June or July after the NHL Entry Draft since 1992, and it's only made up of 2 rounds as opposed to the NHL 7-round draft. The Import Draft, like I said earlier, is to pick hockey talent not from the United States and Canada, but as a rule, CHL teams can only have 2 imports on their team at a time, which can only be obtained from the Import Draft. If the team already has 2 imports, then they have to pass on one or even possibly both of their picks at the draft. And every team in the CHL has a chance to pick in the CHL Import Draft. Because of this rule, you'll notice that during the Import Draft there are streaks of moments where a number of teams pass on selections. And since so many countries have eligible players, the draft is just done online by the teams taking part. In terms of geographical demographics of the draft, the Czech Republic, Russia, and Slovakia see their players get imported into the CHL more often than other nations. However, unlike most drafts, the Import Draft is a little more risky. The player that a team picks doesn't have to report to their respective team. If the player is serious about joining the CHL but doesn't want to play for a specific team, they can just wait until the next year and report in then. We've seen this with players including Zadina when he was drafted 4th overall in the Import Draft by Vancouver in 2016. He didn't report and was drafted again in 2017 11th overall by Halifax, which then he reported to. But that isn't the only cost that a CHL team might incur. Each pick that a CHL team makes in the Import Draft costs them 2,000 Canadian dollars as a transaction fee. And some international players might choose to not report to a CHL team because of fear of adapting to the North American lifestyle. Or they have a preference for another city. Or they might even already have a pro contract in Europe, as is the case with a lot of Finnish and Swedish players, so they see no real reason to transfer over to the CHL. But the CHL does provide a proven track record of developing NHL talent, and it does provide a closer look for any NHL scouts that wish to scout an international player playing in the CHL over another league abroad. So as long as a male player is between the ages of 15 and 20, and as long as their parents' full-time residence is based outside of each CHL league's territorial claim, then that player is eligible for the CHL Import Draft. And it's also because of these territorial borders that you notice more QMJHL teams using the CHL Import Draft, since their territorial claims don't cover as much land as the other 2 leagues. And that's more or less everything you need to know about the CHL Import Draft. I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you in the next one.